I spent 25 years telling other people's stories, and somewhere along the way, I forgot how to tell my own. Film was supposed to be freedom. It was supposed to be art. But it became politics, ego, control. The dream got replaced with stress, darkness, burnout, and depression. I started in the mid-90s, young and full of passion, chasing dreams and ideas through a lens. I'd always had such a deep connection with music, so it made sense that my career began with directing music videos. These were the fun days, the most creative of times, a place where experimentation was welcomed. But whenever I heard a song from a band that was wanting to hire me, there was always this little voice. If only they'd done this or tweaked that. I'd never say it out loud, of course. It wasn't my place to give advice on the music, just to add visuals to it, to tell a story. But I understood the patterns of music long before I even realized I could. By the end of the millennium, I was shooting my first feature film with almost no budget. We worked every weekend for 6 months, out in crazy abandoned locations, trying to capture a post-apocalyptic world. It's always been a fixation for me. Then editing and effects and sound design, that was just me, and it took another 4 years to complete. I had no idea what I was doing, but somehow managed to teach myself along the way. When it was done, I thought I'd made it, but it fell flat. It'd be another 10 years before it found its audience on YouTube. But what I didn't realize was I'd pushed myself too hard, and it took its toll. After that, I made more films, music videos, corporate videos, whatever paid the bills. I moved to the country in 2006 to work at a rural TV station. They said they wanted me to bring metro production quality to regional commercials. What they really wanted were miracles. 18-hour days, 7-day weeks, 150 commercials in 3 months. Then, on a rare day off, I took the company car and just drove. And I kept driving until Civilisation disappeared in the mirror. Hours passed, and I realised I hadn't seen another soul. Phone reception was long gone, as was the traffic. Just endless outback. And it hit me. If I screwed up out here, even just a little bit, I could die. There was no one coming to save me. The safety blanket, the illusion of civilization, was gone. And for the first time in my life, I felt alive. I felt free. It wasn't long before I quit. What I didn't realize is that I'd gotten so run down that my immune system was completely shot. I went back home to start on a new film, editing and producing the visual effects for a horror film. It was a dream job. With my immune system down, I picked up a severe case of whooping cough. It nearly killed me. To keep my contagion from spreading, I worked through the nights alone, coughing my lungs into tissues, editing until sunrise. Because that's what the industry taught me. If you're not dying for it, you're not working hard enough, right? After that, I went back to commercials. In 2008, I found myself cutting a government campaign to promote the dredging of Port Phillip Bay. This was going to allow the massive super freighters into the port. It was propaganda dressed as public service. They wanted to convince everyone it was good for the environment, good for business, good for the people, and good for the bay. It wasn't. I got to speak with a lot of the scientists behind the scenes. I got to learn the truth. It wasn't good for anything except lining the pockets of the people behind it. And it was my job manipulating the footage to sell their lie. And for the first time, I saw how deep that lie went. How language itself was being used to shape belief. That job broke something in me. It cracked my soul open and I couldn't patch it together again. And that's when I walked away. And again, I drove. I disappeared for 2 weeks and came back 3 months later. Drove right up the east coast of Australia, all the way to Cape York. People said I'd never make it that far, especially in the car that I was in. I did. I lived out of that car, outside of society, observing it, dissecting it, trying to make sense of it all. I was free from its grasp and I breathed it all in. I spent a lot of time far away from anything human, in the mountains, in the forests, in the desert. Just silence, space, and the sound of real life, unedited, unfiltered. It changed me. It stripped away the facade of society and showed me the true fragility of life. I eventually returned to the chaos of civilization and made a few more films, but I was running on fumes, maybe less. What I didn't know then was that I was in full autistic burnout. In 2014, I worked on one last film with a director I'd wanted to collaborate with for years. And for the first time in a long time, it was joy. The egos were gone, the politics didn't exist. It was creation for the sake of art, and it was a beautiful experience, a perfect note to walk out on. So I did. In 2015, I decided to re-educate myself. I studied life coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, hypnosis, the works. I thought I was learning how to help people. Turns out I was learning exactly how I'd been manipulated, exactly how I'd been coerced to manipulating others. The same hypnotic language, the same triggers, the same psychological hooks that I'd unknowingly used years earlier on those government campaigns. Except now they were being sold as tools for transformation. The training was amazing, and it helped me in ways that I'll forever be grateful for. But the deeper I went, the more I became aware of the darker side. The cult of happy. The idea that happiness is the only emotion worth chasing. That anything else, grief, anger, sadness, were all considered negative emotions. It's bullshit. Life isn't meant to be one emotion. It's meant to be all of them. The highs, the lows, the rage, the love, the apathy, the fire. You can't feel alive without feeling everything. I tried the life coach thing, but I couldn't stomach the fake positivity. So I built a business in 2018, creating guided meditations. I thought of them as movies for the mind, helping people journey within their inner self instead of trying to escape it. And that's when everything came full circle and led me back to music. In 2022, I started vocal training. Not because I wanted to become a singer, but because I needed to evolve my voice, to be able to tell better meditations, Well, the one thing about taking singing lessons is eventually you have to sing. Turns out my literal voice led me back to my inner voice. And weirdly, as my singing improved, I reached a point where I could fully let go. And I found a greater sense of spiritual connection than I ever did with meditation. So I started writing songs again, something I hadn't really done since I was in my 20s. And even then it was just bad poetry. But now, as I wrote, every song felt like a piece of me returning from the dark. And that's how this project was born. 7 Shades of Nothing. It's a rebellion against those who try to silence me, against the sameness of our society, against the machine that tells you who to be, what to be. I want passion. I want creativity. I want art that bleeds. I want freedom, not permission. The world's losing its soul, bit by bit, every day. Everything's becoming homogenized, beige, safe. Same shops, same clothes, same slogans pretending to mean something. We're told to be happy, don't feel too much, fit in, be kind, be equal, be the same. But I don't want equality. I want difference. I want contrast, texture, colors that clash, and emotions that cut. I want the fire back, even if it burns to the core. And that's what this is. That's what 7 Shades of Nothing is. It's my scream against a world that's gone numb. It's a call to anyone who still feels something stirring under the surface. I'm no self-help guru. I'm not even happy most of the time. I just live life with all its mess and chaos and try to make the most of it. The light, the dark, and all those shades in between. And if you walk down this path with me, maybe we can shake off the world that has been pushed onto us and maybe feel something real again, something that's been buried just under the surface all along. I'm James Cole, and this is 7 Shades of Nothing. If my story resonated with you and you want more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear the music, the links are in the description, or just search for 7 Shades of Nothing. And if you want to carry a piece of the world with you, there's a merch link in the description too. Thanks for listening. I hope to see you in the next video. There's plenty more stories to come.